straight games of Ezreal last week, so that is one that was kind of added to the pool here that wouldn't normally be in there. And then Corki as well. PowerOfEvil, obviously loving to play that style of champion. You know, Azir, you know, the Victor, the Corki, that kind of thing is really his bread and butter. Xayah grabbed early on here for Immortals, also grabbing up Viego here, who is kind of one of the popular ones, you know, we've been seeing a lot of ever since MSI, but it's interesting to see them go early on for the Xayah, which makes me think they might have been going for the Rakan pairing, and I think that's why we're seeing Vulcan go for the takeaway here, more to kind of deny what his opponents were looking for.
Yeah, it gives you a great other engage option along with the Wukong to go in together, plus it causes Xayah and Rakan to break up, and that's exactly what EG is trying to do.
One thing that's interesting about it, though, is that, you know, Xayah really is successful against dive comps, right? So EG is, by taking away the Rakan, kind of indexing more heavily towards that sort of a dive style comp, and thus making the Xayah maybe more of a valuable pick. MF coming out here for Danny. Going to be really interesting to see what style of build he does go on it. There are so many different options. There's the auto attack focused build. There's these hybrid AP builds that have been popping up. There's the most common, which is kind of like the lethality tier style of builds that is very ultimate and spellcasting focused. And I do think that Rakan and Wukong can set you up very well for that. If you can get a multi-man knockup, lock them down, ulti over top with the bullet time can be incredibly tough to deal with here.
Well, with the 6 bans that have already focused towards those ranged attacking champions, it's no surprise to see both teams drafting those AD carries in the first half, supports next to them, junglers as well. So that means solo lanes are the name of the game here in the second half of the draft. Who's going to get targeted and where? Remember that Immortals will be the ones with the final pick out of everything, so it's all up to who they want to give that ultimate counter pick to.
Yeah, and that's why I'm expecting them to ban mid and then pick their mid laner on 4 and then just, you know, have revenge, because generally 5th pick countertop you know, is going to be the most effective way to go about it on red side. So LeBlanc banned away here from Jojopyun. That has been, I think, you know, his champion that is most associated with his lane dominant style, something that he's really, really effective on. So targeting that. Fiora, the ban here, I do like it against Revenge, because Fiora is just at the point where, I mean, yes, there's 5th pick opportunity here, but it's basically to like blind pickable status. This champion is just ridiculously
so strong.
You can play it in most circumstances, and if you're really exceptional on it, you can team fight very well on it too. But with the Fiora ban, you're already thinking, hey, maybe Impact is going to go towards a tanky option. You know, if he wanted to play something similar to the Sejuani that he played last week, you'd really want to get rid of the Fiora. He
Orange
also
still
could,
up too.
Yep, and Sejuani actually going to be banned out. So you could go to an Orin. If he wants a more aggressive option, I also think GP is great here. GP is a pretty strong blind if you're very proficient on it, as Impact is. And it also really does set up well for your engage. GP ult to slow them down. Wukong, Rakan flying over top. Bullet time from MF layered there. So I think they have some strong options here.
Well, they got 5 more seconds to pick the ban here on the side of EG. What's that last champion
like
going to be?
Oh, okay,
Azir. Okay, so the Corki taken off the table nice and early. You already talked about how PowerOfEvil loves playing these long-range, scale-up, control mage types.
Yeah.
So Azir will be gone. Gwen locked in for Immortals, so it is PowerOfEvil getting final pick of the draft.
Very interesting. You know, I actually thought they were going to ban the Gwen, to be honest with you, because I was thinking, okay, if they want to deny another scaling side laner, that would have been the one. But you know, GP may be the option, kind of as expected there. But it would be 5th pick mid for PowerOfEvil, which makes me think if you're going to 5th pick mid, you basically have to be willing to do something a little bit more spicy. Otherwise, there was no real point. Like if you just go Victor on 5, who cares? EG does have the ability to go GP here, just take away Victor as kind of like the other obvious scaling option and say,
the big 3, right?
All right, PowerOfEvil, now you got to play something more aggressive. Like try to actually call his bluff here, which I would be pretty happy with kind of as a choice.
Yeah.
But you also can go another way. If Jojo just thinks, hey, I don't care if he plays Victor, you could kind of pre-counter pick that pick, assuming that he's not going to have a deeper champion pool. Of course, we did see the Ahri come out 1 game from him last week. It will be the Sylas, so a bit more of an aggressive option here.
And because you see Alistar on the enemy team, it is the best ultimate in the game for Sylas to steal. You don't have to worry about sending flashing Leona lasers. Well, that's the thing. You don't get to do the coolest thing in the game, no. But you get to do the most badass thing in League of Legends, which is staying alive and killing everybody else. Nobody's taking Sylas out of the picture when that thing is active. And it ends up being an Orianna 5th pick for Immortals. How do we feel about this?
Well, I mean, it's clearly for the combo, I think, with Ignar. You know, it is very much in the wheelhouse of PowerOfEvil. It's a scaling AP mage. You know, I'm not sure like how comfortable he's going to be in the matchup. You know, you would think that he's looking at the scaling options and thinking what is going to be the best option early on for him. The ultimate steal from Orianna is like fine, but it's not really that big of a deal. As you said, it's going to be mostly about the Alistar ult, but because that's a low cooldown, you can get it almost every fight, at least later on. So I do think it's a pretty strong pick. I think it rounds out their composition fairly well. They're going to have pretty strong team fighting over on the Immortals side, but the engage is what is so powerful on EG's side of the map. The initial engage there, the follow-up going to be incredible as well. They have a really, really powerful wombo combo, but they also got an entirely new bot lane, so and a new jungler, right? So it's like 3 new pieces and your mid laner wasn't there. That's really tough to be able to get kind of game shape for week 1. Immortals, though, moving out towards that top side of the map.
All grouped up together, lost a little bit behind everybody else, but they will take a defensive position here in this brush. Kenvi gonna walk out, so it looks like it's just Kenvi, and Ignar with the flash into the headbutt, or pulverize, excuse me, but Inspired, ready to flash away on his own. Doesn't want to risk everybody following up on that one. So flash for flash, jungler for support.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, there's not really any follow-up from Immortals, so the chance of a kill was pretty low. It is just a trade of flashes. We'll have to see, though, like, I'm trying to think. Normally, you would say support trading for someone else's flash is pretty good. In this case, I almost feel like it's a bad thing for them, that trade.
He's got Hex Flash, though.
Yeah, he does have Hex Flash, but I'm just trying to think about like how the 2v2 is going to work.
Okay.
MF and Rakan is going to have so much less threat on you. It is this kind of like poke style. It is going to be Spell Thieves on the Rakan. It is Tier Comet on MF. So if they can actually play pretty aggressively and harass down Lost, this lane could become a lot more difficult, but we'll have to see if there's any punish in that 2v2 because you are going to have significantly less threat, especially if you get the push and you have them under tower. Really, the only thing you have to be worried about. Oh, really nice combo.
Level 1 going after PowerOfEvil like that. Vulcan pulling a little surprise here in the mid lane, giving Jojo a great start.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's going to be basically all the charges of the flask there are going to be gone here at level 1 for PoE, but yeah, I mean, if MF gets the push and Ignar doesn't have his ability to threaten a flash combo on them under tower, then, there's really not a lot of threat. You can kind of just harass constantly without being worried about it whatsoever. So we'll have to see if there's any sort of advantage Kenvi can maybe get on Inspired, given that he's missing his flash.
Well, we do have our junglers starting on opposite sides of the map, both of them beginning around their blue buffs. So it'll be Kenvi pathing towards top side, Inspired heading down here towards his bottom lane. And right there's a little bit of what you were talking about, just the power of the E with Misfortune coupled with the Comet. E slows you down so much that it guarantees the Comet proc. And then here's our lovely new preview of all 3 lanes at once.
Yeah, actually, I love this. When the game is slowing down, you get to watch all the lanes. You can kind of choose which lane you're most interested in. Top lane going to be also really interesting because you're kind of expecting this to be very important for Revenge. GP versus Gwen, I think, is a pretty skill-based matchup. We saw a lot of this at MSI, and it did go either way, depending on who was really able to play it out better. The Gwen does really like those kind of extended trades. If you can find GP in a long lane post level 6, you have the ability, especially with the Ignite, to potentially chase him down and kill him off. But GP can harass you down, can poke you out. And it can be really difficult if the Gwen doesn't play from ahead and isn't able to threaten those all-ins.
And I like how you talk about it being a skill-based matchup because I love that you have Revenge being willing to take those. Like, this is a guy who's not afraid to play the carries. We mentioned the Fiora ban too. Mid lane's going to be a little scrappy as well.
Spicy.
But Jojo's at 200 HP. PowerOfEvil still just going after him here, but doesn't want to chase any further. Jojo getting whooped on a little bit there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ori has really strong auto attacks early on, and you are playing this range versus melee matchup. Vulcan did help out Jojo early, but still, Jojo out of potions. He's going to have to TP back here almost 100%. Would like to stop that base.
Yep.
And they will be able to do it. Kenvi's in the area. Vulcan is here, and Inspired is here.
All right, Inspired bonks Kenvi over the head real quick, but he should be able to just walk away from this one. Jojo doesn't have an E2 connection angle, so he can't jump in there either.
Oh, they're going to freeze the wave for him, though. This is actually so annoying if you're PowerOfEvil.
Yeah.
You're winning out your lane, but if you base on this wave, your advantage goes away because you actually will deny a full opponent wave. So he's going to have to TP back and try to actually fix this. But this is a really big deal that Vulcan moved up. It's great that Inspired and Vulcan were both there to cover him. Ignar did not make the initial roam. So it's a 3v2. Immortals can't push it out. And that means all of this additional farm is going to be there for Jojopyun to collect. So we'll see how well he's actually able to do. But this went from basically dead even to now he's up more than a full wave just on CS.
Yeah.
So it is a pretty significant swing off of what seems like a small play.
Yeah, wave and a half, depending on how many he's able to farm up. But Revenge, I was praising him for wanting to take this skill check, but Impact just smacks him around.
Wanting to take this skill check is one thing. Having enough skill to pass is another there.
Not good for Immortals up in the top lane. Impact continuing to just be a force of nature up there. 1-0 on the Gangplank.
Yeah.
Only kill on the board. Got a close game otherwise, but that's, if nothing else, Isaac, it's a confidence shaker. If he's able to take you down just 1v1 like that early on, you're not feeling so good about the Gwen GP now.
Absolutely. And I mean, Revenge had not been back to base yet and wasn't really playing with enough respect because of that. Impact walks up, and he is only on a cull buy. It's not like he got a sheen or anything, but look at him just walking straight up, tries to actually get the auto on the barrel, not able to get it. Even using the Ignite makes it so much worse because now you come back, you've both traded TPs, but Impact has a better buy. The wave was slow pushing towards him, so Impact had the better wave. He is down a bit on farm. But Revenge not going to have much kill threat whatsoever until the Ignite is back up. So Impact kind of in that comfort zone. And that is going to hurt Revenge significantly in that 1v1. As you can see, the farm is going to even up. And when you get ahead as GP and you get that early sheen, it can be very punishing as a melee champion in this matchup. You're just getting queued on cooldown. You're not even close to having enough sustain to kind of survive through that. So you got to be really effective with the Shroud and try to dodge as many of those Qs as possible.
Grasp as well for an even stronger laning phase. Like these days, you see a lot of Gangplanks taking first strike too. I know that a lot of high-level Gangplanks will argue for first strike, saying like, yeah, it's better most of the time. But we've got the Grasp here for Impact to guarantee that he's got as much bullying power as possible. Inspired walking up towards mid. Is there a play to be made? Kenvi's also going to hover this one. Jojo trying to get this handled as well as he can, but now he might be in some trouble. Kenvi jumps in, trying to stun the enemy jungler, making sure he can't get anywhere close to his own mid laner. And Jojo walks away from it. Both supports also coming up here towards the mid lane now.
Double sweeper. Look at this battle for vision. I mean, there's just so much focus around this mid lane. Both the pink wards that EG had down were cleared out. And EG obviously said, okay, well, they cleared out our pinks here. They're going to be dropping their own vision, so they actually committed double sweepers there as well. Unfortunately for them, there were no wards to clear out on the other side. Jojo's still here. He's going to have to be fast with his flash. If he gets to the left side of the brush, Ignar's going to look for a flash combo. If he lands that, you are going to be dead at this health. So playing it respectful, knows he has no vision, no idea towards that top side of the map. As you can see, it's all their wards on that top side. Pink ward here, another ward over by that blue. So playing very intelligently towards the bottom side.
Right, because he also had Inspired around that bottom side. He knows as long as you're playing towards there, at least you should be able to make it a 1-for-1 if Wukong can swoop in and find some sort of a counter punch. But there's nothing going on there in mid. All of it just shakes out. He'll be able to get that wave shoved up into the tier 1 turret. And it is a very, very nice farm advantage for Jojo over PowerOfEvil in mid lane now. Going back to what you were talking about with the team setting him up for it.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, those are such big swings. And it's something that I think, as a viewer, sometimes hard to appreciate, like how much of a difference that is. Sometimes you're watching a matchup. And of course, when you're playing, you get to see everything that happens in your lane. But at the pro level, you can't watch all 3 lanes at once, right? So you're watching the game. Sometimes someone will be down 20 CS, 30 CS even, all of a sudden. And it's very confusing how that's happened. Often it is about wave manipulation, about getting a freeze. If your opponent's wave is slow pushing and they have to base, they're denying sometimes multiple waves from themselves on that base. So that is why there's been so much movement towards mid in this game, really trying to set up those situations. And this 1v1 bot side is going just fine for Danny. Vulcan has been moving around the map a ton, and Ignar has been trying to get out of there and affect these lanes as well.
Well, you could see Vulcan hanging around up top side, seeing if there was a move to be made, but there was not an angle there. Revenge playing very respectfully now, making sure that he does not give them an opportunity. But it's Evil Geniuses who have started up the Rift Herald. There is a control ward that they've placed down in the pit so that they know Immortals at least have that ward in there, but they're not going to bother to clear it out, just focusing on the Herald itself instead. Kenvi grabs his red buff. We'll see if Immortals actually want to try to contest for this. Herald down below half HP. Eyeball will open up at least one more time. There it is. Not going to continue burning down Herald, instead turning their attention over towards Immortals. Alistar ultimate has been stolen away by Jojo. You don't have to have your ulti for Sylas to have your ulti, and that just means that Immortals don't want anything to do with this fight.
Absolutely, and Immortals should never really be taking that fight. I think they should have just backed off early. I mean, Xayah is down bot, and Danny moved up towards mid, so EG were clearly willing to commit the extra man to it. We'll see how many plates Xayah does get on bot. Looks like gonna be not quite gonna be 2. He could have, I think, maybe one more auto, could have grabbed that, but obviously he doesn't want to get caught, slipping on the way back. So Lost will just back it up. So it is just the 1 plate, almost takes a second, is gonna deny a wave or 2 here on that bottom side, so that's pretty nice, but Revenge could be in some trouble here. Remember, no flash.
Revenge in what he thinks is a 1v1, but it will not be so. Evil Geniuses get kill number 2.
Gets caught up on that top side, looking for the all-in onto Impact, but Inspired hovering, finds the lane gank there. Jojopyun back towards mid here. Again, early CDR boots. They're going for some early itemization towards laning. And it's going to look now.
PowerOfEvil getting jumped on by Jojo. Jojo knows he can go in and play really aggro like this because he has Alistar ulti.
Yeah.
Right? It's essentially a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Absolutely. And that was actually really good timing from Jojopyun. PowerOfEvil had a nice shockwave, and if he doesn't actually reactively Alistar ult that, he's very likely to die with just like a flash auto or something afterwards. So good timing on the Alistar ult. As soon as he sees that shockwave coming up, his E is on cooldown, so not going to be able to actually just dash out of the way.
And as with any Sylas game, so much of playing against him is keeping track of when's he going to be able to steal those ultis again.
Yeah.
But we got a 2v2 bottom as Danny gets rooted up, loses half HP on that one, and Immortals get the better of the trade. But the whole goal in the trade entirely was just to shove the wave up anyway. You can see these guys getting ready to go back, at least for Ignar, who also now does have his Alistar ultimate. I'm looking for this to be a playmaking window for the side of Evil Genius.
Yeah, absolutely. And when Vulcan can get his ulti, that would also be really, really big. But I agree, and I think you made a really good point talking about Sylas and the cooldown tracking. You know, obviously when he can steal those ultimates is a big deal, but also his W is massive. If you lose track of when the W is going to come off, and he can actually get that huge heal at low health, or even an execute with that Kingslayer, it is absolutely fight changing. So you've really got to have a good idea of those cooldowns, not only the duration, but kind of the sense for how long they're going to be. Ignar and Kenvi are here, 3v3 possible.
Ignar jumps
6 for
in.
Vulcan.
But Inspired, disengaging there with a clone. Now Kenvi looking for Jojo, who could be in a pretty bad spot, but Kenvi also below half HP now. Revenge rotates over to the fight. Jojo not in danger of dying, but he does get taken low enough that he has to go back to base. Did have to use the flash there to stay alive as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Revenge was moving down, so EG just make the call, back it all the way up, get out of there. The Ignite was spent on the side of Ignar. But Impact got to push out the wave top, so he's actually up a little bit in farm now. You know, Revenge has been doing a very good job of keeping up in the farm despite, you know, getting solo killed and then dying to that gank. But EG now moving their dual lane towards mid to cover that wave while Jojo did base. You like to see those rotations, then going to head right back down towards bot after pushing out one wave to try to catch this on the way down. And Ignar just going to try to be annoying here, try to shepherd them away, make sure that Lost can actually get that plate. Just needed one auto to do it, so it does get solo gold on the plate. Ignar not taking any of that. Just being a little bit of a nuisance on the top side, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, feels good putting the money on Xayah where it needs to be. She has already completed the Gale Force for a bit of extra power there, but now Revenge again in trouble. The third time he'll die if they can finish the damage, and they do. The flash Q from Inspired is his second kill of the game.
Yeah, that one was a lot harder to pull off, though, because they're missing both their ultimates. Vulcan looking for the engage.
Okay, nice Misfortune ult. He's going to find most, but not all, of Lost's health bar. He can flash away both summoner spells, and the ultimate had to be used there, and Lost walks out.
Yeah, they trade both their ultimates and the Ignite, but as you say, they get the flash, the heal, and double ultis off the other side, so Lost going to be very vulnerable now. And you can see the MF ulti lasts longer than Xayah goes up in the air. So even though Lost used the ulti, you know, after the MF had popped it, still going to be taking that damage. Herald dropped top. This is one of those, oops, it's about to expire type Herald.
Yeah, it's just, well, I guess we have to summon it up now.
It's a walk of shame for Shelly, man. When you don't get the initial charge.
Well, Kenvi goes
nice
in.
Flash.
Danny with the flash away to get out of that one. Flash for flash, bottom side, as Jojo keeps it scrappy here in the mid lane. Stolen Orianna ultimate, uses that one, but PowerOfEvil responds with the real deal. Jojo gets the better of the trade, but PowerOfEvil gets away.
And PowerOfEvil going Riftmaker again. So, you know, again, going towards kind of these different style of builds. Last week, I'm struggling to remember what champion it was on, but he, you know, he did go for this kind of Conqueror Riftmaker style as well in one of his games. You know, obviously, he's one of those guys that has kind of different thought process about how to actually play out these champions. What are the ideal builds? Everyone used to always talk about his Nashor's Orianna. This is kind of like his new wave of dark tech or whatever, if you will. It's going to be interesting to track the stats. You know, when we saw it last week, I didn't feel like it really paid off. It is one of those things that it's like Conqueror Riftmaker is good in long fights, or good if you feel like the sustain is you know, incredibly important for you.
Right.
So if you're playing against a lot of poke, maybe you can kind of make the argument there. But in this case, there's not a ton of like easy frontliners kind of wail on and stack up that Conqueror. Yeah. But maybe he feels like the fights are going to be long with, you know, this Alistar ulted Sylas in the front line. And if you can get Conqueror stacked up, it does give you a lot of bonus AP, which is going to be really nice for him. So we'll see what kind of fights it actually ends up being.
If somebody's going to pull out a wild Orianna build, it's going to be PowerOfEvil. This is historically established fact, but we have 30 seconds until our next Drake spawns here in this game. Pretty slow game for Drakes. I mean, it's going to be 15 minutes before that second one is there. EG currently enjoying a lead of a little bit over 2,000 gold. So the thought of challenging for a Drake could be honestly pretty intimidating for the side of Immortals right now.
Absolutely. And Danny actually has Lost Chapter. So, I mentioned the kind of hybrid AP builds. I didn't actually think we were going to get it, but it is something that I've been seeing pop up a little bit. So it is going to be tier into Leandry's, very, very likely. I've seen Luden's a little bit, but it does feel like Leandry's is much more likely. You do have pretty good AP ratios on your stuff as MF, and it does make your pokes so annoying. You can just continuously pop that E on them over and over and over, get the Leandry's burn, plus the comment damage coming through. And it is really, really effective. You can AoE apply it with your own ultimate as well. Oh, nice steal.
Nicely done. Kenvi getting the smite steal there as now he tries to get away. The Cloud Drake gonna open up on this one for the soul, but it's Immortals worried about what's happening in the here and now as the bullet time zones them all away. Honestly, they get in, they get everybody out. Nice stuff.
Yeah, really good job there. Gonna be able to actually steal that one away. We're going to be excited to see how this actually works out. And it actually is a full Emax from Danny. So he's 5 points early on here.
That's what I would figure if you're going with the AP approach, right?
Yeah. I've seen a lot more people, like, when even if they want to go lane focus with comment, just like go a couple points in E and then start going Qmax.
Yeah,
but traditionally, they're more into like a heavier AD build. But if you're going to go, full on AP item here, AP Mythic, it does make a lot of sense to do the Emax and is going to be really frustrating for them to deal with. I also think it just kind of makes sense. Like when you're looking at the composition on the other side, when is MF going to have a chance to really stand there and get a lot of auto attacks out, right? So it doesn't really make sense to go like Kraken or Gale Force or anything like that. Then it becomes more the argument between which is more effective, Lethality or Leandry's. And the burn can be really, really nice if you're just kind of like poking away at them, harassing them. The slow is also really, really effective. It's an AoE 60% slow, which makes it so much easier for your kind of 3 melee squad there to be able to get in and stick on them. So I think it's smart, and I'm going to be excited to see how it actually pans out.
TP coming bottom as Jojopyun takes the defensive position against Immortals, who are shoving that wave up. But despite the fact that Immortals were able to get in there, steal away that Drake, I believe Inspired smited it down to, it looked like 26 HP, and then Kenvi was able to get it out. Yeah, it's very frustrating because you're like, okay, surely some other
auto-attacking it.
Some random auto-attack has to hit it, right? Yep. So you smite, but unfortunately, it just doesn't work out like that. Immortals have that 2-0 lead in terms of Drakes, but they're still yet to find a kill this game, and the gold lead keeps slipping away from them. They haven't staunched the bleeding as Vulcan and Jojo tried to make a move there, but PowerOfEvil quick enough on the fingers to flash away.
Flashes away, does cost him his ulti as well, so getting zoned off there a little bit, good bit of pressure. GP also printing a lot of gold there up on the top side. Looks like he's going for Collector second.
Oh, Immortals nearly find a kill on Vulcan, but he's able to flash out to safety as well. Both sides, it's not like they're not making moves, just the other side's always ready.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of answering. I mean, most exemplified by the early game. Both supports, both junglers constantly towards mid, trying to kind of fix those waves. Ignar going to get spotted now, is playing Moby Boots. Something that we haven't seen as much in a long time, to be honest, but Alistar
really
is kind of one of the
popularity.
Yeah, so much. I mean, there were some nerfs to it like a really long time ago, back in the day when like literally every support only went Moby Boots to move around the map. So it's cool to see Ignar going for it, and I do think it's kind of fit the playstyle of the game. Of course, CPR Boots on Vulcan is going to be more effective, in the actual team fighting stage. Having the additional CDR and the summoner spell cooldown reduction can be really, really nice. So we'll see what they're going to be able to get done with that. I do expect there to be a more significant fight over this next dragon because EG I don't think is going to want to give up that third Drake.
Especially not with the lead that you have right now. Like obviously you don't have an in-game gold tracker for how extreme your lead is, but you can kind of get a feel, hey, we're a few thousand gold up. We should be able to muscle these guys out of it.
And I mean, you just look at item completions, right? Like that's how I think about it when I'm actually playing. When you're watching, I think you think about gold, but when you're playing, you think about this, right? Like you look at, okay, we both have a mythic, but I have tier 2 boots and a hex shrinker on top of the same stuff he has, right? Yeah. And you look at towards top, okay, we both have tier 2 boots and our mythic. I'm most of the way towards collector. He's got nothing, right? Like that's how I actually look at it when I'm playing. And that's the easiest way to kind of understand like where the power points are, is just looking at item completion. Gold, it's great if you can estimate it in game, but honestly, it's really not that important.
Well, Evil Geniuses are going for tower number 2 of the game. They're going to strong arm this one down. Demolish proc is ticking away, but they don't even really need to use it. Trial by Fire can burn it down easy enough. 2 turrets to nothing now. Going to take that gold lead up to 4K for the Evil Geniuses. And Immortals continue to fall further behind.
I mean, just looking even at the jungle, it's like 1,700 or something like that, even just between the 2 junglers. So pretty significant advantage between those guys. And top lane is rough. That's 2,200 gold or so up in that top lane. So Impact very far ahead. It's tough, you know, if you fall behind GP, if you can't threaten it all in, you can't do anything against GP. Like,
right.
You only beat him 100-0 as Gwen, and if you can't 100-0 him, then what are you going to do? You're just going to get slowly poked down. He's going to farm extra gold with the parlay passive, so Impact going to be looking really good in this one, especially since he went early call.
Plus, Gwen's one of these champions where if you read the tooltips for her abilities, most of them are Gwen kills her opponent, right? Q, Gwen kills her opponent. E, Gwen dashes to kill her opponent.
W, Gwen doesn't die to her opponent.
Gwen doesn't die to her opponent. That is the most, that is the one that deviates the most. So if she's behind, she doesn't have the money to kill her opponent. What are these abilities even doing, Isaac?
They kill minions.
And that's about what he's relegated to in this one. But we've got Evil Geniuses with control over the bot side river. Jojo stealing the Alistar ultimate. That's one of the most important parts for Sylas before these team fights. Identify Alistar, mark him, steal his ulti. Now you're ready to go.
And it is going to be the Leandry's MF. So Danny went back to base. He completed that, has CDR boots as well. So it's going to be very heavily about the E. We'll see if EG can kind of get anyone softened up prior to the fight. Ignar has a really good flanking position, though. You know, he's going to be looking for this angle, and someone is going to have to mark him. So Impact coming over here to try to mark. And EG are on this dragon. Immortals have done a good job of staying away from Danny, though. He's not really getting any ease off to soften people up.
Well, they still have to get through this fight. Ignar still on the side. He'll want to clear out that control ward. Jojo goes over the wall. He's just going to try to beat up Ignar as Inspired, hovering around, seeing if he needs to contribute to this as well. Without the Alistar ultimate available for Ignar, he will go in and immediately die once the fight starts. He essentially gets one headbutt pull, then he's done. But Impact and the rest of Evil Geniuses still have control over the river. Jojo's going in with a stolen Alistar ulti now. He's the only Alistar left on the map as Jojo gets thrown up into the air, but the bullet time finds Kenvi. No smite steal this time, but Revenge gets one back onto Jojo. 1-for-1 trade, objective over to Evil Geniuses, and Immortals are calling it a day there.
Well played by EG, you know, playing that out very patiently. Yes, Jojopyun does end up going down, but it's a really good job actually pushing back the entire team. You know, forcing the ulti out from Ignar, forcing Immortals to kind of collapse over towards that tri-bush to really answer him. You can't allow him to get a free flank. But then, you know, as Jojopyun is kind of creating this zone right here, you see the E from MF just getting dropped in this angle right over there. You know, there's barrels being dropped from GP in this spot as well. That slow comes down. They're going to be able to drop the GP ulti right over there. And it's just this really frustrating kind of zone control that is pushing Lost back over and over and over. He has to use the ulti defensive. He has the Gale Force defensive. Lost cannot really re-enter the fight whatsoever. There's just no shot of them ever being able to actually get towards that dragon to even attempt a steal. EG's composition just has such good zone control between the MF and that GP.
And here is MF just using that ulti, putting a couple bullets into Lost and clearing out the entire wave at the same time. Especially with the Muramana evolution added to every single wave of the ulti. That thing just shreds somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
The zone control threat, as you already said, immense here for these guys. So let me just ask you this then, Isaac. What's the play if you're Immortals? Because it feels like you're outranged. They're able to control the fights. They're this far ahead. How do you get back in this?
I mean, I think you have to be first to the objective, right? When you're trying to walk in late without vision, it's very, very difficult. If they are first to the objective and they're the ones clearing out the vision, if Ignar is not marked on a flank, then you look for that explosive engage with Ignar and PowerOfEvil to shockwave follow-up on the Alistar combo. You know, that is option A if you want a team fight. Option B is Shadow Revenge in a side lane and try to find some sort of a 2v1 play, get a kill on the Gwen to really unlock her in the side lane. Because if she can get ahead of the GP and start really threatening there, then that's a way to have overloaded numbers on the other side of the map.
Right, something to pull them apart, something to stop EG from playing the game that they've honestly been able to play for the past 23.5 minutes. But everybody from Immortals, a little split up right now. You can see, although there's 3 of them down here in the bottom lane, those recalls are channeling, so 2 going to disappear now, leaving Impact and PowerOfEvil against one another there, as they'll just keep on farming up. Impact does have that collector now that you were talking about the pieces of earlier. That combined with the Trinity Force can make for some very scary barrels.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he has 1,800 gold on top, so we'll see exactly where he wants to go. If he's going to go Zeal item into IE, that's kind of what we've been seeing a lot of. Because Collector has crit, you get the Zeal item second, that puts you at 40, you get IE as your 4th item. That
Magic
obviously
number.
gets you to 60, so that can be really, really strong. We'll see if he's going to go that direction. We'll be able to collect this tower down on the bottom side, and just ever so slowly, EG are kind of just crawling further and further into the lead in this game. You know, Immortals have been unable to find a way in the side lane, been unable to find that explosive engage, and it is just EG taking away more and more.
Yeah, that's kind of the point that I'm really worried about here for Immortals, is we've never really seen that gold lead of EG not just slow down, but like go in the other direction.
Yeah.
It's not any sort of up and down. There's no undulations here. It's just straight up and to the right for the side of Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how they want it, right? I think they're kind of just outplaying their opponents. They're playing the vision game incredibly well. They're playing respectfully. You know, Impact knows he's in this weak side. He could get chased down here, though.
Impact.
TP flank.
Okay, Ignar's
double
coming
TP.
around. All right, we're going to turn this into a regular old bloodbath, aren't we? Jojo jumps in. He's stolen away the Gwen ultimate. PowerOfEvil now bringing in the firepower. Jojo buys a little time here with the stasis, but we also got a different fight in the enemy jungle as Kenvi's going to be chased down, but he gets away for now. Inspired, still in hot pursuit. Kenvi gets away. Jojo does not. Immortals find the play between the two fights.
Really well done. You know, they had that extra man there. Jojo goes for the TP response, but then all of a sudden, Lost is coming down too, and they enter with their own TP, and it's a 4v2, so you cannot contest there. So all Impact can really do is just run away and leave Jojopyun to die. Kenvi almost goes down on the other side. He is pushed back to base, so Immortals will just get the one kill. It won't be anything more off of that. Jojopyun going to be back up for this next dragon here, but we'll have to kind of take account of what all is going to be missing.
And hey, for the first time in this game, that Evil Genius's gold lead number has gone down. That is important for Immortals. Finally, we're stopping that locomotion forward.
And that was kind of option B of what I was talking about. You know, you either do try to find the explosive engage in the team fight, or you overload a side lane, you play towards revenge. This time, Ignar behind him, you know, with the Moby boots, going to be able to close that gap on Impact. There's no tier 1 tower. There's no easy retreat to him. You know, he'd have to get all the way back to the tier 2 tower, really force any safety. So when he's up this far in that side lane, they can look for their plays. EG now, though, trying to play through mid, control this area. Again, Immortals struggling to get any vision, right? Like, they have nothing past this line. And that is really kind of the problem in the river. Their only wards even a little bit into the river, now going to get taken out here. And trying to walk again through barrels and the MFE is very, very difficult. And Kenvi now make it caught. No flash.
Kenvi, that's not where you wanted to be. Danny picks up the kill, and with that being the enemy jungler, they're saying take the Cloud Drake. We don't care. They're going straight to the Baron.
Yeah, we'll see how fast they can actually kill this off. They do have quite a bit of damage. Obviously not a traditional marksman here. I think Immortals still may want to fight this. Ignar does have flash and ulti available. And PowerOfEvil has his ulti as well, and they're in the pit. But look at Vulcan. Vulcan's looking for the wraparound here. He's going to try to come down.
Jojo the same. They're seeing if there's an angle to make here. They're ready for the peel. Jojo goes in. Bullet time, forcing the flash out of PowerOfEvil as he tries to get away. Jojo's going to be tanking up everybody. The stolen Alistar ultimate. There is a reason it is so highly valued. He just can't die.
But they get them off the Baron, right? And at the end of the day, they do stop this push, and it is Immortals that are healthcare. They're going to be the ones that take this dragon, very likely here. So Immortals playing it out well. They do lose one kill on Kenvi, but they stop the Baron. They take the dragon. They're now at soul point, and EG really didn't gain any sort of a significant advantage from that. So very well played by Immortals at the end of the day. You know, the engage, the flanks were there from Jojopyun and Vulcan, but the follow-up wasn't necessarily in position. Now, EG going to try to hopefully catch them on a recall. They're assuming, all right, they took the dragon, they're going to reset, so right back towards this Baron, trying to burst it down.
However, Immortals has the information.
Just slow.
PowerOfEvil with the ball over the wall. They see that it's about 4,000 HP, 3,000 HP, 2,000. Kenvi's ready to go! PowerOfEvil gets the steal!
The shockwave combo from PoE steals it over the wall as Kenvi went in. PowerOfEvil there as well. Combo it down. And EG, all of a sudden, what was looking like an easy, clean game for them, not looking so clear-cut anymore. Did they lose the dragon? So now not only do they have Baron, they have Soul Point, they're on Baron. You do still have a significant gold advantage here, but EG need objectives to actually close out this game, and it's Immortals that have them.
Immortals, man, coming up huge when they need to. Trading a single death away for the Baron. You'll take that pretty much every time.
Absolutely.
Feels great for these guys. And now let's take a look at the Roccat flip the switch replay to see it one more time.
Yeah, so it's PowerOfEvil over the wall. He is warded out, and I want to actually track when this might came down. So there's the ball. The shockwave comes through. Okay, that was from 1050 HP. The smite from Kenvi at the same time as the shockwave, that was really well timed. The smite came down as well from Inspired, but you cannot blame Inspired when it literally never got to 900 health, right? There's just like, he's going for his own.
We didn't see it move. It just went 1058 dead.
Yeah, he's looking for his own Q smite combo, but the shockwave combo, you know, the RW there plus the ulti over the wall from Kenvi at his smite makes it very, very volatile. EG flip it. and Immortals are the ones coming out on top.
Feels great for IMT. They currently have plus 900 on that Baron power play, but they have 90 seconds more to work with. There are so many turrets available for these guys to take. Mid lane tier 1 for EG is still standing. So Immortals have some money that's just there for grabbing.
Absolutely, and you look over at Lost. Lost is becoming a real threat here. You know, he's now on the IE. So yes, Danny is kind of doing this cool different build. He does have the Cyrildas in. The Cyrildas is going to apply this slow on his ulti, which is really important to actually kind of lock you into that burn. Which is going to be pretty nice. But as far as like pure DPS, if Lost can actually auto attack, he is going to be a monster threat. So, you know, Immortals, it's all up to the engage. Can they actually find that? Because they're just getting harassed here by these slows.
Oh, and PowerOfEvil, he is stuck in that bullet time that you were just talking about. Inspired's found his way to find multiple knockups on everybody as Ignar's going to be shot to pieces. Danny picks up a double. Revenge falls and gives one over to Jojo. 3 dead for nothing. EG marching down mid lane.
EG on the push. They find the engage. They punish the missing flash, but now looking for a kill on top side. He got him.
Goodness gracious. Lost made that look easy, but the problem is, Isaac, it is a team game, and the team is coming up top looking for the Immortals AD carry. Everfrost going into the root. Kingslayer keeps him alive long enough. Evil geniuses pick up another one.
He actually could have had that kill. He was late on the ulti there, unfortunately. So lost about 80% of his health there. But still a good attempt. You know, does get the kill onto Impact. Almost gets a kill on a Jojo. That would have been really big for them. Danny now pushing in here. Has got to play a little bit respectfully with Ignar now having respawned.
Yep.
But it's really frustrating dealing with these ranged slows. It's sometimes hard to appreciate, you know, when you're just watching, but the MFE is so annoying. Like that 60% slow on a low cooldown. Because you have to remember, Leandri's mythic passive is also CDR. He has CDR boots. He has CDR from Muramana and Cyrildas. So he actually is up at 95 ability haste. So a 50% cooldown reduction. The E has a 4.6 second cooldown, and it lasts for like 2 seconds or something like that. So it has like a 50% uptime.
That's
now
pretty ridiculous.
on this long distance, 60% slow, plus the slow from the barrels, plus the slow from the GP ulti. Not to mention all the potential engage, the Everfrost, everything coming across makes it really tough.
Talking about potential engages, look at the bullet time, man. Ignar loses almost his entire health bar right there. Inspired going unstoppable to pick up the kill, but now they got to try to get away as they've already lost Jojo in trade. Mid laner for support, but Impact seeing if he can jump in and get anything done now here too. 20 seconds until the Drake spawns. Neither Ignar or Jojo will be up for that on spawn. It's EG with control over the bot side river, but keep your eyes on Lost and that DPS that he can dish out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of pressure here on Lost. He doesn't quite have his ulti. It's about to come up. It just came up now, but look at him just getting kind of poked down.
Yep.
Doesn't have a lot of sustain. He would have very likely some, but Danny in trouble.
He's not looking for sustain. He's looking for an all-in! Style points for the Immortals AD carry.
Lost is going off, refusing to lose here, trying to get Immortals back into this one. Solo kills Impact on the top side. Now his solo kill, a 1K shutdown, and they get sold off of that. Lost is having one of the best games of his career, you have to say.
Immortals are scrappy here tonight, Azael.
Man, I am actually so excited to see Lost stepping up in such a big way like this. You know, myself and a lot of people have been very critical about how passive he often plays in big moments when he's in strong positions. He's not the guy to take a risk. He's always been that guy to really play, to keep himself alive, to try to just stay at the edges of those fights. And multiple times now here, going for the risky move.
Oh, no. That was a grief. What? Come on. You didn't sweep the bush. Yeah. You're on a ward.
It's a lazy recall right there. And that's tough because that is a 40-second respawn. They could just start up Baron.
They just do Baron, yeah.
They're going to start up Baron here. We'll see if Immortals can actually get them off. But that is a shame because that is a big deal here. Revenge now has to be pretty careful. The movement speed going to be a big deal in this one, especially if you get out towards the side lane. The 10% flat movement speed plus the burst of movement from the Cloud Soul on Gwen means GP is not going to be able to keep Gwen at range at all. So like that is actually a really big deal. It's amazing on Alistar. It's actually really good for repositioning on Xayah even. It is very strong on a lot of these champions over on the other side. But EG, of course, Baron on spawn, Jojopyun in this area. Going to look to try to steal away the Alistar. He does get it. Yep. Can PowerOfEvil will find him, no?
Well, they can try to just chase him out a little bit, send him back over towards the pit. Immortals walking up. The Baron is already in the hands of the evil geniuses, and that is the cost of Kenvi's reckless recall.
Yeah, Kenvi getting punished big time there. You know, sometimes the plays are all not built equal, right? One mistake can be worth so much more than another, unfortunately, in League, and that is a costly one to die there as Baron spawning, lose that for the team. You know, they're nearly down 10,000 gold. The Soul does, stats-wise, it's worth like 4K-ish ballpark, right? Depends a little bit on your champions with Cloud Soul.
Yeah, it's more subjective.
But still, you could kind of erase like about half of the goldie with the Cloud Soul, but they're still very far down, and now there's Baron stats on EG's side. EG are, exactly. I mean, EG are going to be wanting to try to close this game out here right now. This is kind of their biggest spike of power.
Revenge is shoving up bottom here. This Gwen not quite on 3 items. That is traditionally when she is at her scariest. Yeah, Vulcan gets really slowed down there. Yeah, Revenge just kites it out, uses the power of that R to get himself away.
Yeah, it's such a significant slow on that ability that it just kind of denied it completely. You know, 60% slow, 1.5 seconds when you do hit that R. So had to hit Vulcan with it. Vulcan didn't want to just full-on commit and try to like flash over it in W because maybe would have got too far away from the team. EG look for him pick, nothing really comes from it. You can see the Ghost Blade as well for Danny, really indexing in towards move speed. That's another really powerful thing about MF, is you have the Strut, which gives you a lot of move speed, then the Ghost Blade active there, you know, really ramping it up so you can close that gap and try to kite out. Just looking to drop these E's on them, harass them down as much as possible. He's closing in on full build, and you can see Jojo mid lane trying to push this in, but has to play with some respect towards Revenge, who, though he's still behind, is getting pretty strong at this point in the game.
These misfortunate E's look like he's playing Earth. He just steps up, shoots it up into the air, step back, step up, do it again.
50% uptime is insane.
Yeah, the cycle is nuts. Like, just constant pressure coming out of these. And even though each individual E isn't chunking people's health bars away, it's just the constant war of attrition.
Okay, Leandri's passive burn damage, almost 6,000 this game. 5,924. That is crazy burn damage. Plus the bonus damage is almost 500.
I feel like every single time I see a game of League of Legends, never mind. We got a nice bit of damage coming in. PowerOfEvil wants to try to get away. Flash or not, he's gone. Ignar's going to be the next to go. Jojo's found his way into the side here, seeing if there's any more to be picked up. Revenge back in the base, going to try to defend at mid, but Evil Geniuses found their moment and they jumped on it.
Yeah, they find that engage on PowerOfEvil, and then the ulti over top from Impact was so smart because you just need to apply any damage there to proc the Collector. He was so low. So even though PoE flashes out, they tried to actually time, you know, Redemption coming down even for that kill. Vulcan was looking for it with Redemption as well.
Yep.
No way out for him, and now Immortals have got to try to defend here. It's up to Lost.
3v5 for the next 10 seconds. But it looks like they will hold on. Yes, they lose double inhib. Yes, things are rough with a 12k gold deficit. Lost losing some HP there to Danny's ulti. But speaking of Danny, the thing I was going to say before the fight broke out, I feel like every time I see a game of League of Legends and there's a good Leandri's champion in that game that buys that item, it is always far and away the burn damage is topping the charts of the mythic stat tracking.
I mean, it's crazy. It's just so easy to apply on MF, right?
Yep.
Like, this is just... Anytime I see this build, I just can't help but think of ARAM, right? Because people always do this sort of APMF style. You know, this is obviously mostly focused on lethality, but it's really just it's just the comparison of what is the lethality mythic going to do for you versus what Leandri's is. And like lethality mythics aren't really going to add that much damage. You're not going to get that much from like the Duskblade proc or something like that. You know, you can go Prowlers for like the armor pen and whatnot, but you're not really going to get much out of the active there. So Leandri's so easy to apply. I do think it's a really smart build, high CDR. You know, great itemization here from Danny, and you know, hopefully we'll see more of this kind of stuff.
And the Mythic passive adding that cooldown reduction. I mean, cooldown reduction is, over a course of time, just added damage itself, right? Because it's what you're talking about with that uptime. Yes, each individual tick won't do as much, but you're getting a lot more ticks because it's just being cast constantly. Immortals back to 5 men strong. They've still got their Cloud Soul, yes, but the job is tough, Azael, and the Elder spawns in 10 seconds.
And Danny has 150 ability haste at this point in the game.
All right, that ain't right, man. Lost goes up into the air with the ulti there. Xayah ult down. That is huge for EG in the upcoming team fight.
Yeah, 4-second cooldown on the E now for Danny. Even the ulti is getting really low cooldown, 40 seconds. So you can do it almost every single wave at this point. And it is the Elder looking for the pick here on Kenvi.
Kenvi, luckily for him, the rest of the squad is not there for EG to complete the pick. They take the jungler out there. That's a guaranteed Elder. Revenge eating a barrel as soon as he arrives with the TP. Impact has so much damage. Ignar not going to find anything there with a pulverize. Revenge taken very low. Revenge at about 100 HP. Impact going on a rampage. There's burgers hammer's on the grill, and it's Evil Geniuses eating good tonight. Revenge tries to get out. He is the last man standing. He'll hop, skip, and jump all the way into the blue team jungle wonderland, but EG, they're marching on the next.
They're gonna clean this one up. Double TP to bot lane. Inspired and Danny pushing it down mid here. EG gonna close this one out. Look at the damage from EG's side in that final fight. Inspired, Impact, and Danny just roasting him.
And Revenge, I mean, this is about all he can do. Try to buy a moment, but a moment's pretty expensive in a 1v4, excuse me. It don't matter. Evil Geniuses, 19-6, 40 minutes in, 14K up. Just kill Ignar on the spawn platform. It's bullet time.
Oh, man. Just killing him as he respawns. Spawn camping him in the well. I mean, that was a ridiculous game. Immortals really putting up a big fight, though. Have to be given some credit for that. But
yeah.
EG, overall, barring a few little mistakes, they have had some scrappy games. But they played it out very, very well, consistently extending the gold lead. The Baron steal was the only time where that lead started to kind of falter a little bit. But it was up and to the right for almost the entire game. The early solo kill from Impact, then the follow-up gank from Inspired. Felt like that put Impact in cruise control. Bot lane was doing really well. The Leandry's MF was super, super effective. Like the Sylas pick, you talked about a lot of time into the Alistar. Makes him so durable in those team fights. So interesting comp here from EG. Played it out very well. The final check-in here on Leandry's was 8,150 damage bonus from the burn.
Just from the burn.
Just from the burn. So like that, I really want to see total damage stats at the end of this game. I would love to see that on the analyst desk or whatever, because I would not be surprised if just his Leandry's burn damage was more than multiple other people in the game.
Oh,
like
for sure.
Total damage.
Did Danny's Leandry's burn damage do more than Gwen?
I think more than Kenvi, 100%.
Yeah, that actually seems pretty solid to me because
Gwen, I'm not as sure about.
Constant. Yeah, Gwen was at least able to get some more damage.
8,000 damage is like 1 R from Gwen.
Yeah, exactly, right? But at the same time, like, awesome from Evil Geniuses. I love the fact that they weren't afraid to play the MF like that, as you were talking about. You said, yeah, I've seen this before, but didn't know if we would actually see the full-on Leandry's commit today. I think it worked out great for him, allowed him to have that good start. And again, Immortals, it's better than what we've seen so far, but they still got to keep working about not having these issues that let them fall behind 4,000 gold before we start to see them really get scrappy and fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Revenge is going to want that game back, right? Getting solo killed when you have the counter pick, when you are playing Ignite before your first base is a tough one, right? And that's going to put you in a rough situation when you're losing sides that heavily. But a lot of credit deserved, I think, by Lost. And to see him playing aggressive and step up in a couple big moments, I think is a really good sign of things to come, because he had been lacking that killer instinct, and all top marksmen around the world have that killer instinct, and he got to display that today.
Well, Evil Geniuses are the ones triumphant when the dust settles, and now it's time for us to join the Tigress on stage